Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar to celebrate International Youth Day, an awareness day designated by the United Nations, which is today, the 12th of August. I'm Kirsty Fitzpatrick, the National Chapters Coordinator at ISSUP, and whilst we're waiting for a few more to join us, I will begin by saying a little bit more about us. ISSUP is a membership organisation with over 25,000 members worldwide, working in the fields of substance use prevention, treatment and recovery care. Our aim is to connect professionals through networking, knowledge exchange and training, sharing the very best in evidence-based, ethical approaches and promoting quality in all areas of prevention, treatment and recovery care practice. If you've not done so already, please head to our website issup.net, where you will find information on how to sign up for free membership. Our website also has a wealth of resources and publications for you to enjoy. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few things so you know how to participate in today's event. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to our presenters by typing your questions into the questions pane of the webinar interface screen on your screen. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. A recording of the webinar will be made available for you to watch on demand after the event, and I hope you will stay with us for what promises to be an interesting webinar. Now, I'm delighted to tell you a little bit more today about our speakers and the webinar. Firstly, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, will be presenting an update on their Listen First initiative, which will be given by Jenny Roston Lundström, who coordinates the Listen First campaign. We will then follow with a contribution from Eva Georgiovich from Safer Youth Norway, who will talk about her experience with the Listen First. And finally, the presentation will be given by Helena Holleck, an assistant professor and prevention expert from ISSUP Czech Republic. Jenny, Eva and Helena, a very warm welcome to all of you. It's a great pleasure to have you with us today. Jenny Roston Lundström will be our first presenter. Jenny is a UNODC consultant and coordinates the dissemination, outreach and partners engagement around the global campaign Listen First, an initiative started by the UNODC Prevention, Treatment and Rehabilitation Section to increase support for science-based drug use prevention worldwide. She is also the producer and co-owner of Eastern Films, who created the Listen First materials. Jenny has 15 years of professional experience working in the international field of human rights and film production, and has a master's degree in human rights from Lund University in Sweden. Jenny, over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Kirsty, and thank you, ISSUP, for inviting us today to speak about Listen First. This is really an important event to us because Listen First was created as a resource to be used by prevention professionals around the world and to help them in their work to help and support young children and youth to grow healthy and safe. So thank you so much for inviting us. Can you see my screen all right? Yes? Okay, yes. Great. So just to give you a little background about Listen First. It was launched by the UNODC in 2016 during the UN General Assembly's special session UNGAS on the world drug problem. And it started as a campaign on science-based drug prevention to raise awareness around the importance of listening to children and youth, and also of positive parenting. And Listen First itself takes a very positive approach. So we are not telling people what not to do, but rather what to do. And it is also a substance use prevention tool that is not talking about substances or drug taking. So it's really about helping children and youth grow healthy, happy, and well. And we're excited that since 2016, Listen First has grown into a global campaign, and it's being used today by governments, organizations, NGOs, and prevention professionals around the world. So let me just walk you through some of the key points around this initiative. First of all, it focuses on positive parenting and active listening. And as the name Listen First gives away, listening is key to this campaign. And active listening is really so important because this is about communication. It's about building trust, making children feel loved and safe. And we know that children who receive positive attention at an early age do much better in life than those who do not. And on the other hand, children who are rejected or receive lack of attention is directly harmful to their development. Positive parenting. We also know that parents and parenting play an enormous part in children's healthy development. So strengthening parenting skills is a high priority in science-based substance use prevention and also to the UNODC. We know, for example, that parenting style is directly linked with children's behavior, educational results, mental and physical health, and also later in life substance use and risky behavior. And we know that a warm, supporting parenting style where parents are positively involved in their children's lives, but at the same time set up clear rules and boundaries is the most successful parenting style. So this is really what Listen First is trying to achieve. Listen First is science-based. Of course, all the material have been linked to science based on evidence and are approved by UNODC experts. They're also fit within the framework of the UNODC WHO international standards on drug use prevention. And this is a resource in itself that if you don't know about it or haven't seen it before, I really recommend you to look it up. Posting also a link to that in the chat, because this is a resource that provides a very concise summary of the current evidence on an international level when it comes to substance use prevention, what is effective and what is not. So at the same time as it's science-based, it was also very important to us that this campaign is fun and engaging, because it has to appeal to young children and their families. So all the material have been created to be playful with very short and clear, concise messages. Diversity, equally important for us. The material has to be able to be used around the world. So we have to make sure that they are inclusive. So for example, we have animated characters that are purple, could represent families anywhere in the world. And we also make sure to include children and families from different backgrounds, including children with disabilities in this project. A very important point here is the final one. This is not a standalone initiative. So Listen First is not a program in itself. This is very important to remember. It's not a program that you can take and implement. It is a resource, it's a material, and it has to be incorporated in existing evidence-based prevention approaches or systems. So we'll get back to that also later in the presentation. Finally, the target group of Listen First have been, as you can see, broad. We have targeted parents, teachers, health workers, prevention workers who work with children and youth and families, and even policymakers. So let's take a little look at the materials that we have at the moment. So Listen First at the moment composed of 3 sets of materials. We call them the original Listen First, and then the Science of Care and Science of Skills. And I will walk you through it, and we will also look at some of the videos now. So the original Listen First material, this was created back in 2016. It consisted of 3 longer videos around these areas of focus: active listening, and then family rule setting and the importance of having family rules, and finally parental involvement. And all these videos also have science sheets with them that gives you more information about these areas here. Then in 2020, with the COVID pandemic, this was a time, of course, where the need of science-based parenting material that is also easy to understand and to use online was many greater than ever. So this is when we created the Science of Care. It's really about helping parents and caregivers to strengthen their parenting skills. And it targets parents directly with 10 videos around these 10 areas here. And these areas are areas that were identified by UNODC experts as in very key important areas where parenting can really make a difference, where you can make a difference with small adjustments. And they are relevant in the pandemic, but also beyond. And each of these videos then also have a science sheet, because you will see in the video they are very short, very concise. And if you want more information about the science, you will get that from these attached sheets. So this is where we're going to take a little break and actually watch one of these videos. They're very short, about 40 seconds. And Olivia will help me with that. The first video is called Science of Affection. Let's see if I'm back again. Yes. Okay. So as you can see, these videos are very short, clear messages, and targets directly families and caregivers. Then, in order to help children directly, we know that social and emotional learning is the most important area to invest in. So therefore, we created this latest material that we have. It's called the Science of Skills, Super Skills, and it's all about social and emotional learning. This is a fun adventure where we meet 4 superheroes. They are called Loyal, Look Up, Likeable, Listen Up, Sensitive, Smell Up, and Helpful, Handy. And they live in Skill Town. And these heroes, they all have a special feature, something that makes them different from others. For example, Handy has very big hands, Listen Up has very big ears, and so on. But they have learned the benefits of being special, and they develop super skills around this, so that they can use to help each other and their friends in their magical community. And this adventure is filmed in 3D in order to appeal to children in the group 6 to 12, which is the specific target group for this. And it is meant for co-viewing, so to be watched together with adults. And of course, it is also meant to be engaged with afterwards. So you will screen the videos and then you will engage in interactive activities around these videos. And these videos, there are 5 videos, and they also have 10 sheets that goes with them for educational purposes. And these videos are a bit longer than Science of Affection. So, but we're going to watch the very first of the 5 videos now, called Being Special. Thank you, Olivia.
Without the super skills of compassion and respect, we and other people can feel bad. growing our super skill of compassion makes us kinder and helps us and our friends grow stronger too. Compassionate children feel better about themselves. It's scientific. Grow your super skills and thrive.
Okay. So I think I'm back again. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, great. So as you can see, this video then introduced the super team and their abilities, and it also deals with bullying. And each of these 5 videos then have stories that explores themes around life skills. So it's about learning self-awareness, self-management, decision-making, relationship skills, and so on. And we also link them with these 10 competencies or skills that have been identified by experts as key when it comes to social and emotional learning. So you see the 10 competencies here: empathy, compassion, respect, and gratitude, and so forth. So we also then have science sheets relating to these skills, and you can see them here. This is an example of how compassion looks like. Basically, they all have the same structure. So you will have a definition of what it means, what it is, and then why it matters according to science. And they also have a back sheet that is linking to social and emotional learning. So these are the sort of educational resources that you can use then next to screening the videos. So that's the material that we have as of now. And now I would like to talk a bit about how it's used and how it can be used. So this is to give you an idea. Right now, Listen First is used in these countries here and countries around the globe, and it keeps growing. So it's becoming a real global effort. We have also, we're also pleased to say that Listen First has been translated already in more than 10 languages. And you can see the languages that are available here to the left. And there's also more translations underway because partners around the world are interested in translating them. So if your language is not here, if you would like it to be available in your language, this is also possible, and we have procedures in place for how to translate Listen First, and we do support you in the process. So this is something we can come back to also later. So how to use the materials? Well, this is the question that we get. First question that we get: how do I use Listen First? And the first answer to that would be that it depends on you and your resources and your needs. Because as I highlighted early on, Listen First is not a program, it's a material. So it has to be integrated into existing effective prevention efforts. And that can be done on a national level or local level. Important again to say, it's not a standalone event. It's not meant to be used for one event and that's it, but it's really meant for implementation within programs. And we can also say that Listen First can be used as an inspiration to inspire parents to take part in evidence-based programs, and also be used to inspire teachers, inspire policymakers, youth workers to demand the kind of evidence-based program that are necessary. And I wanted to give you some very practical example next of how some of the partners today have been using Listen First. These are all very different. So in Slovenia, for example, we have an NGO, and they've been working on a national level, incorporating Listen First into their national prevention programs together with the Ministry of Health and other government bodies. And they've been using Listen First in nationwide kindergarten programs, where the materials are then used as educational tools targeting parents and teachers. They also used it for media campaign because, for example, during the pandemic, the TV stations were really in need of good material, and they were very pleased to broadcast these videos nationwide during the pandemic. They also have distributed some 20,000 posters and hung them in schools, kindergartens, social and health services, and so on. And they have had a very large reach in Slovenia. They estimated like a quarter of their population have seen Listen First. Then we have a very different initiative in Tanzania, where a team of digital researchers who have created a health app for health workers and for those seeking rehabilitation. They have translated Science of Care into Swahili and incorporated these materials into this app. And finally, we have a youth initiative here from a former Youth Forum participant, UNODC Youth Forum participant from Malaysia. They have programs where they provide breakfast and other necessities for vulnerable children. So they also then are screening these videos in these programs together with interactive questions and other activities around the videos. So these are some very practical and different ways of using Listen First. And here I just wanted to give you some more inspiration. So there are other examples of activities that partners have undertaken with Listen First. They're of course very suitable to be incorporated in training and educational programs where you also have the opportunity to engage with the material and have an interactive approach, which is more impactful perhaps. But you can also then print the science sheets, can be used as posters physically or online, and be hung where you have you for parents waiting, for example. The materials are also used during actual family therapy sessions. In the Philippines, for example, there are therapists who are using them as a tool to start discussion with young people and their parents during family therapy. And you can also organize strategic social media campaigns to reach youth. Use them if you have webinars where you want to highlight one of these topics, perhaps. And they can also be very useful to use as a tool to build coalitions around and work together with NGOs or government bodies to have a more national outreach the way they did in Slovenia, for example. And maybe you have other ideas if we have the time later in the question and answering session. Would be great to hear other suggestions that you might have. So if you feel inspired now, I hope you do, to use this material, and you have a program where you think that you could use them, that they can help you in your work, there are some steps to undertake, and it's rather easy. First of all, the materials are free to use for educational purposes, and they're all available on the website in the languages that we have listed earlier. But we do ask you to contact us if you are about to use Listen First, so that we can also support you in the way that we can and provide you with the most recent documents that you might need. And therefore, we will recommend you that you first start by identifying a focal point in your organization who can coordinate your efforts to Listen First. And then you go to our website and you fill out an engagement form for stakeholders. And I will show you shortly where they are. And that's where you give us some basic information about who you are, what's your program, and what materials are you interested in. And then we can get in touch with you directly from there to help you. Then, of course, it's important to plan and evaluate your resources. How will you incorporate them into your programs? Is it a national or local initiative? And so on. If you need translations, you decide that you want to use this in your language. As I mentioned, it is possible if you organize the translations, you get in touch with us and we will guide you through that. We also ask of all partners that they collect data about their initiatives and share it with us so that we can also help and share your successes on our website and in our Listen First monthly newsletter that I also recommend you, of course, to sign up to if you want to be up to date with Listen First activities. And I thought this could be a good time to visit quickly a few minutes to see the website. And I will show you also then where you find the materials and the engagement form. Let's see if this works like this. Yes. Okay, I think it's working. We are on the website together.
Yes.
Yes, great. So this is the Listen First website, and you have to the left here, you can see the different sets of material that we have mentioned. For example, science of skills. This is in the English site. You can also choose French or Spanish up here to the right. All the material and the website, the basic website, are available in Spanish and French too. And then you will scroll down and you see the videos here. These are YouTube videos. So if you would need the videos in other formats, you would have to get in touch with us. And you can scroll and see the different science sheets down here. And you will have more information here about each skill. This is curiosity, for example. And you can also download, of course, and print these sheets here. And then you have the same idea here with science of care and the Listen First. And if you want to get in touch with us, you decide that you want to use Listen First, you can visit the stakeholders tab here. Just click there, and we have a basic form here. It takes you to a Google form where you can fill in your basic information and let us know what you would like to do, and I will get in touch. We will get in touch with you. And you can also see here that we have success stories on the website where we actually share partners' news, and for example, activities that they have done. Here is a partner in Nigeria that have used Listen First, so we will report it and share it on our media as well. Okay, let's see. Now we should go back to the presentation. I hope that's all good. So to summarize, Listen First can be used in many different ways. It takes a positive approach. It's focusing on prevention at an early age. And we hope that it can serve as an inspiration and raise awareness about the need of evidence-based programs. And at the end, it's really about raising happy, healthy children and youth. And I hope that we will be able to work together with many of you who are here today in achieving this together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. That was a really interesting presentation, and the videos were great. I just love them, so thank you once again. Our next speaker is Eva Georgiovich, who is a former UNODC Youth Forum member and current representative for Safer Youth Norway. Eva is currently the chairperson of the non-governmental youth organisation Safer Youth Norway. She is also studying clinical psychology at the University of Oslo, and she has participated in the UNODC Youth Forum 2021. Eva is currently coordinating a project where the Listen First campaign is adapted to a Norwegian audience in order to increase awareness and support of evidence-based prevention. Eva, now over to you. Thank you.
Oh, so I may have been muted, but I am hoping that you can all hear me right now and that you can also see my screen. Please let me know if you cannot.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So I will be presenting a little bit about our Listen First project in Norway, presented by our youth organization called Safer Youth Norway. And first, I will start by giving you a short presentation about myself. My name is Eva, I'm from Norway, and I'm currently the chairperson of the youth organization Safer Youth Norway, and also the project coordinator of our Listen First project in Norway. I was also, as Kirsty told you, participating in the UNODC Youth Forum in 2021, and I'm studying clinical psychology in Oslo. So a little bit about our organization, Safer Youth Norway, or Tryggere Ungdom in Norwegian. Our main goal is to create a safer society for young people, and we are working to reach that goal through activism, different forms of political influence, educational work, and public debate. And so we also are aiming to reach this main goal through the sub-goal of preventing drug problems, other mental illness, alienation, and crime, and to promote solidarity with disadvantaged youth, and to facilitate safe upbringing. So it's quite a broad goal. We have existed since the end of 2018, and our parent organization is the also Norwegian Association for Safer Drug Policies. So I can see that I cannot see my notes when I'm sharing the screen, but I'll try my best to remember everything I wanted to tell you. So around the end of 2020, the Norwegian Ministry of Health and Care Services reached out to our parent organization and let us know that they have been encouraged by the Prevention and Treatment and Rehabilitation Section of the UNODC to help disseminate Listen First and evidence-based prevention in Norway. And so, since Listen First is concerned with children and youth and prevention as well, our parent organization and Safer Youth Norway, we agreed that this was the perfect project for us. And so we applied for funding and received the funding from the Norwegian Ministry of Health and Care Services to adapt this campaign to Norwegian. And so we began the translational work. Actually, we put down a team first, and I was asked to lead this project. And as I had recently applied to participate in the youth forum, where I also knew I would learn a lot about prevention, I felt confident to take this role, and soon the translational work started. And so we began translating all of the written materials and cross-checked both within our group, and we received kind help from the UNODC and the Norwegian Ministry of Health and Care Services to validate these translations. And so when the translations were finished, what remained before the project could, the campaign could begin to disseminate was the editing of videos and science sheets, as Jenny just showed you. Right, and when these edits were finished, we sent the materials, the finished videos and sheets, to the UNODC for final approval. And when we got this, when we received this approval, we were almost ready to begin the dissemination. Now, this was around the end of March this year. And that's also when we noticed that we had a bit of trouble following our time schedule, both because, well, everyone in this this work group, everyone is doing volunteer work in these organizations, and everyone is also either a full-time student and working in addition to studying, or just working full-time jobs. So we found it a bit difficult to keep our time schedule and to manage to find the time so that everyone in the work group could meet up. This was also during the pandemic, and that also made it a bit difficult. Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention our work group consisted of people from our youth organization, Safer Youth Norway, and also colleagues from the student organization, Medical Students Association for Educational Work on Substances. Yeah, so we're really grateful to have them on our team as well. And the team consisted of about 6 to 7 people in total. And by now, I would really have hoped to be able to show you the finished examples of the campaign live in Norway, which we unfortunately haven't gotten to quite yet, both because of our busy schedules and because of some major restructuring within our organizations. But the plan is to invite a lot of arenas and organizations across the country within sports, healthcare services, educational services, and such, to reach out to all kinds of people that are in contact with children and youth. And so very soon we'll hopefully have invited people from all across Norway, people and organizations, to help share Listen First and to reach out to these people having contact with children and youth. And also, the same work group has, the same team has started to translate the materials from the newest iteration of Listen First, the Science of Skills, that Jenny just showed you. And to do a similar project with this campaign as well. Yes, so I think I'm now going to show you one of these science sheets that we have translated and edited the text into. So as you can tell, this looks about exactly the same as the original version, except that it's in Norwegian. And this exact science sheet is about why patience is important. And here you can see the UNODC logo and the logo of our 2 organizations. And finally, no, sorry, I was not supposed to click that, but maybe Olivia could share my video. So I can show you an example of the translated videos as well. All right, I believe I'm back right now.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can see my screen as well.
Have you finished, Eva?
Well, I might just take the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for listening.
Great. Well, thank you, Eva. That was a great insight into your experience of Listen First in Norway. Really fascinating stuff. So thank you for sharing that. And finally, we would like to welcome our next speaker, which is Helena Holleck from ISSUP Czech Republic. Helena is a prevention expert and assistant professor at the Department of Addictology, Charles University in Prague. And she will share her insights about working with youth and prevention of risk behaviour and provide some examples of good practice in the Czech Republic. She's an international trainer of Unplugged, EU DAP and national trainer of the EU PC. Since 2019, she's part of the European Society for Prevention Research Board of Directors, and in that same year, ISSUP awarded her with the Leading European Prevention Science Practitioner honour. Helena, take it away. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much, Kirsty. Hello, everybody. I will try to explain you shortly the situation in the Czech Republic, and in the end, I will a little bit compare with the programs like Listen First, because it was really interesting, and what was said here about this program, and I will a little bit tell you more about how we made it in the Czech Republic. The first, I will focus on the structure and our system, because we have a system that goes from Ministry of Education, and this system it's focused for schools. It's one kind of our system, and as you can see here, you can see that we have a horizontal and vertical level of this system, and the horizontal level goes from Ministry of Education, and we have a regional school prevention coordinator, and then we have a local prevention methodologist, and then we have a school prevention methodologist. And then in the classes, we have a teacher that they are trained also in prevention. And this system was established more than 15 years ago. Another part, what we have and what could help to the schools, it's the system for coordinating prevention activities. And because as you see in here, all the schools have the position school prevention methodologist, and the information goes from the Ministry of Education about how to work with children, how to make a system in the school, about the new law, and so on. And because of this, all the schools have reported in the end what they have made during a school year. And for the schools, there is a system for recording prevention activities. We call SEPA, and it consists of two modules, the plan module and the reporting module. And the schools can create a school's primary prevention plan, and in the end of the year, they can see what happened, how they made it, and how things go. Then they have a reporting module that provides our school prevention officers with a tool to record information on key prevention activities. And all of this information goes from the schools to the Ministry of Education. The data in the level of Ministry of Education, it's in anonymous way, because it's not about to punish any school or something like this, but it's where the situation in the whole Czech Republic looks like in the prevention, and what it's good to be focused for the next year. because in the Czech Republic, when we say the prevention, we mean it the prevention of risk behavior. And also in the Czech Republic, we have in practice the standards of proficiency, the certifications, and this starts in 2005 with the standards of drug prevention, but then 2012 it was focused for prevention of risk behavior. And there is all the system how goes, and through this system the state control the NGOs and another centers that they work with the children, teenagers, youth. The importance of the teachers and their education role. We, as you saw that from the Ministry of Education, it's important in the system, the teachers, also another professionals, but we most focus for teachers because they are with the children and youth a lot of time. They spend with them sometimes more than 6 hours, 8 hours per day, and they can influence also youth, and they can also help them if they have some troubles, problems, and so on. And also the teachers are not only a teacher in this way to say the information and knowledge to the children, but also it's a facilitator and advisor and manager, and also a mediator between the children and in some way a friend, because they spend with them, as I said, a lot of times, and they have a closer relationship with them, and they know the children better than some external person who comes only twice a year to the school, to the class, and they have more options how they can deal with the troubles of the children, and how they can work with them. Also, what is important, it's parents, because the parents, children and youth, they love them, even if the situation at home it's not so in a good way. We know it, but that's the reason why it's good to focus for parents and work with parents as well. We don't have any big structure with work with the parents, but we try to focus that the teachers and professionals focus for work with parents, and we try to make for them tools and trainings and how they can work with parents and how they can cope with that. Also, to train teachers, it's not only that we can say just some kind of courses, but we have a courses that it's evidence-based. For example, maybe some of you know the program Unplugged, and this is also a program Unplugged for parents as well. And we work and made another tools that it's based on evidence-based. It's called End Prevention and Cat Garden. It depends on the age of the children or youth that for them there's. But I would like to say the most important things that these manuals and the trainings are focused for skills, and all of them works with the skills. It's not only about sharing the information, but it's focused for as the skills, as you can see, for critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, creative thinking, effective communication, interpersonal relationships, self-esteem, empathy, managing emotions and stress, normative beliefs, and knowledge of the harmful effects of addictive substances on health. And in the school, as I mentioned, they have a school prevention plan, but at the Charles University, the Department of Addictology made a book for the teachers, and in this book, it's written in a basic way how to make a school prevention plan, how to go from the beginning till the end, and it describes how to work on it, and also there are some good examples, and this help in the schools the teachers to make it to make a school prevention plan for the school year and then evaluate it in the end. Also, in the Czech Republic, we work on with the 4-level model of education. We work on this in the certification system, and this is important for professionals, for preventionists, what they can do if they are in basic level or intermediate or advanced level, if they work only in universal prevention or selective prevention or indicated prevention. And this depends on the courses and also about the education and also about the years of practice. And because we are focused for the training professionals, that there are already a lot of small accredited courses, but I would like to mention that for the school preventionist, as you saw in the beginning in the vertical level, there is a specialization study for school prevention methodologists in 250 hours. It's for 2 years, and the person, the teacher who works at the school as school prevention methodologist have to study this course. This course have parameters from Ministry of Education, and all of them have to go through this. Also, in the Czech Republic, you can study at the university a bachelor and master in addictology, and in the end, you will be professionals in addictology, that you can work in prevention or treatment or harm reduction or outreach programs, and you know all from these levels and from all from the addictions and also from the risk behavior of teenagers and youth. Also, you can see that another part is focused for not only for the students or school methodic preventionists, but we established a course called INEP, Introduction to Evidence-Based Prevention. It is established by my colleague Roman Gabrheli, and this is the essential information about evidence-based prevention from the projects UPC and ADAPT EUPC. And through this course, the professional have the basic knowledge in these topics, and it's for 40 hours, and it's not only in English, and this course is of course in Czech, and our specific we put it on it. And nowadays it's working on Spanish version and Ukraine version, as I know, and Portugal version. And At this course, it's that everybody can start when they want, and it's free. It's like another kind to support the professionals to work with youth and teenagers, and how they can work in really good way. And as I mentioned, we work with risk behavior. And if you can see, and it's a psychological context, that it's focused for interpersonal aggressive behavior and delinquent behavior in relation to material property, and risky health habits and sexual behavior, and risky behavior in relation to social institutions and pre-pathological gambling and risky sporting activities. And if will be in this narrowest sense that we classify this following basic types for this 7, and we are focused for this truancy, bullying, extreme risk sports, and risky behavior in transport, racism and xenophobia, the negative impact of codes, sexual risk behavior, and addictive behavior. And it's not be clearly included, but also it's necessary to focus for abused and neglected child syndrome and the spectrum of eating disorders. And if I tell you just quickly the good example or example of good practice in the school, that there is the school methodic of prevention, 15 years with many courses, and all the teachers in the schools have the course focus on motivational interviews and crisis interventions, and also focused for some evidence-based course like Unplugged or Cat Garden. And in this school, they work together like psychologists, educational counselors, school prevention methodologists, and ethoped. And if some teachers saw problem in the class, they start to work on it and try to help the children or teenager, or to help the whole class. It depends. And if you see this, that you can see that the system in the school works really good, and it's important to share this knowledge, and this what is nice to share together. If I will just quickly tell you about the example of good practice, that there are, I just mentioned some of them, that they can go, the parents with their children and use, and how they can support it, because in the school it's most of times the universal prevention, sometimes selective, and then if there is a problem that it could not manage the school, that it have to be sent to some counseling officers or some centers that or they know how to work with the youth and the children. And some of it's focused only for addictions, and some is focused for the another kind of risk behavior as aggression or bullying or eating disorders. It depends. And also the counseling is for parents, for children, and or for both them, parents and children, and from growth groups for children. And you can see that some are the medical facilities, some it's established as a non-profit organizations, and some it's state institutions that it's established in every region in the Czech Republic, and for support the parents and the children. And for example, there is just some some notes about some case report that, for example, 17 years old Thomas comes with his parents for stealing at home and some problems at the schools, and through the process, because all the family comes twice a month for 1.5 hour, through the process and with the cooperation with the doctors and psychiatrists, that there were a diagnosis of ADHD, and then it was working on the rules at home, and also through the process we saw that the parents have a problem between them, and they didn't talk about it, but the Tom and his brother, they saw it, and that was the reason why Tom starts to stealing at home and so on. And because of the supporting of the system, and the family came really early, because the school told them it will be better to start to go to the counseling center, that after half a year the Tom was supported, and the parents solved their issue between of them. And in the end, Tom could continue at the school, and he didn't out of the school system. If I will say, because I was thinking before our webinar about to compare or what is the same. And I think that it's nowadays it's the same in the whole world to focus on the skills. And as you heard, that the Listen First have a really lot of skills that they are focused and in a positive way thinking and showing parents and children or youth how to cope with the issues. And also our courses, it's focusing for positive thinking and for the skills, and this is the same. And as you heard, that it's necessary to put the Listen First to the system. It's a good way in a national way, but also in a regional way as well, and you could see how the system goes in the Czech Republic. And for example, if we would like to or if we decided to implement the program like Listen First, that we will go through our Ministry of Education, because they have the system in our country. In another country could be another type of ministries, but this is really important to know it, and every time thinking about how I can implement it as in the system. And also, as you heard, the target group, in the end, it's the same, that our system is focusing not only for teachers, but our systems in a global way, it's focusing for professionals, prevention workers, policymakers as well, and children and youth, and also in our parents. What can I say? That we don't have a big special program for parents, not yet. We have Unplugged for parents, but it's not implemented in the whole Czech Republic. And nowadays we try to find some another kind of program for parents, and what time will be the best to catch the parents and work with them. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you. That I hope that it was interesting for you, and so much boring for you. And I hope that you enjoyed our webinar, and now I will give the floor for Kirsty if there is some questions or.
Thank you, Helena. Sorry, I was still on mute then. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. It was excellent, and it was just fascinating to hear your insights of working with youth and prevention and examples of best practice in the Czech Republic. So thanks for joining us today. And also can I say a wider thank you to Jenny and Eva for their earlier presentations. They were all just excellent. So it's now time for the Q&A session. So it's not too late to send in a question. So please don't forget to head to the questions pane of the webinar interface screen, and we'll do our best to answer them. We'll make a start on answering the first questions that have come in, and we'll answer the ones that have been submitted so far. I don't know if you want to see everybody on the screen. That's better. There we are. Hi, everybody. Right then, so our first question is coming from Maria, and she has said, "We are a Portuguese prevention team of the Ministry of Health. We are very interested in the Listen First materials. We can do the translation of the fact sheets, but not the video edition. Could you help us, and what are your suggestions?" And she thanks you. So probably for you, Jenny.
Thank you so much for that positive first question, which is also a very proactive suggestion. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to say actually that the materials are being translated as we speak into Portuguese through the UNODC Brazil. And this is being done at the moment, and we are actually getting all the material, all the 3 sets of material translated into Portuguese very soon. So my suggestion would be actually to maybe send me an email, get in touch with me, and I can follow up with you, let you know when those materials are available. But they will be available rather soon, for sure this year, I would say. So maybe we could get in touch directly, and I will make sure that you get those material when they are available.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jenny. Another question, again to you, Jenny, I'm afraid, it's from IMO. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So they've said, what quantifiable differences have you seen in Slovenia in terms of improved behaviour among children and youth?
I'm afraid I'm not able to answer that question. It would have to be a question that would have to go to the partner in Slovenia that are working on this. So I'm afraid I can't answer that.
No, that's fine. I understand that. That's fine. No problem. And another one from Sunshine. She's asked, if a person is interested in accessing your materials, sorry, let me start that again. If a person is interested in accessing your website, are all materials free to use?
Yes.
Excellent. That was nice and easy.
But if you use them, we would like to know, because we're interested in collecting that information and also to share your successes. So if the materials are used, please do drop us an email or fill in that engagement form and let us know, and also so that we can make sure that you have the most recent material and that we can also advise you if needed in any way.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry, lots more questions coming in. So the next one is, this is a very important prevention programme. How can I find and use the materials in Greece? And that's from Maria.
We're talking about Listen First. So it's not a program. Just let me again repeat that message, because it's not actually a program in itself. It's a material that we have created, and we make it available for professionals to use. But it is not a program as of now in itself. And as for material in Greece, I'm sorry to say that I don't have at the moment any, we don't have any translations ongoing, and there's no activities ongoing there either. So the way forward would be for you to take charge and do that. And as mentioned, you can get in touch with me directly, and we can discuss how that will be done. But at the moment, we would welcome initiatives from Greece to translate the material.
Okay, fab. Thank you. And another one, somebody's asked, what about this implementation of this program? They've called it in Pakistan.
In Pakistan, there are no activities as of now that we know of, nothing.
Okay, fab. And then I think we've just got a couple more left. Can you explain a bit more about the translation process? If our organisation would like to translate and use the material in our language, how does it work?
Right. So this process then, it will be driven by the partner. So what we can do from our side is that we will provide you with the material. And actually, I think Eva also, she gave an excellent presentation already on this. So I think she went through this pretty clearly also what happens. So we would provide you with the documents that you need to translate. And then you at your end would have to translate them. And we will then afterwards review them from our side and in the final, give them a final review. And at that point, when they're approved, we will also provide you with the title-free documents that you need, both videos and science sheets. And so basically you would have to do the work yourself, let's say, but we provide you with all the material that we have, and we'll give them to you in a title-free version so that you could then put in the translations that you have done into the documents, into the videos. And you will also then be able to put your logo at the end in the translated materials, right? Next to the UNODC logo. And then UNODC will also help you with dissemination in the way that we will upload all these materials on our website, also on the Listen First playlist on YouTube. And we also share these successes of partners in our newsletter on our website and give you the visibility that way. But the actual work in terms of translations and also in creating the videos would have to be done by the partner. So you will need translators, and you will also need someone at your end who can do basic video editing and editing in basic programs, science sheets.
Okay, thanks, Jen. I mean, I think Eva demonstrated that perfectly when she did her presentation with the logos for Norway. So yeah, that was excellent. Thank you. And another question. Are there any activities recommended for adolescents alongside Listen First? Is this included in the materials as well?
This is a great question. Thank you for asking that, because at the moment, we don't have a specific materials in Listen First for you, for adolescents, age group 12 to 16. So this material will need to be created, and we are hoping to do that because that's a group that have a very specific needs, and the material will look very different from what we have now in order to really appeal to this group. So although the materials we have now have been used also in these age groups, and they can, in the sense that they can also, they're relevant, the overall themes are relevant, and maybe Helena will actually give me the answer also to this a bit more from a scientific point of view. But at the moment, we don't have a specific material that has been created for adolescents, and we are hoping to do that next.
Okay, great, thanks. A couple more questions. I know you've touched on this, but maybe you can just go over it briefly again, Jenny. If we would like to use Listen First, what does UNODC provide as support?
So we provide the materials for free to you, and we also will review the translations to make sure that the message is in line with the campaign, and finally we will help you in dissemination of the materials, and we will, as I mentioned earlier, then upload them to the website, share them in our networks. We will also write about your efforts in our channels online. What UNODC does not have are resources or funds when it comes to translations or creating the video. So that's something that will have to be organized by the partners, so that we don't have those resources, unfortunately. And we also cannot fund the dissemination activities or really advise in depth, in terms of how this. So that's the idea with this material, is that it has to be incorporated into programs that are existing already. So what many partners have done basically is that they're finding a way to do that, because at the end it requires less resources for you to use a material that has already been created than to actually create them yourselves. Because of course the resources to make these kind of videos and the research and all the work that is going into them it's a large initiative. So many partners have found ways to incorporate these materials into the ongoing programs and using funds that they have for that.
Okay, great, thank you. And I think this is the I was going to say final question, but I think another one's coming in, but we'll ask this one for now. What are your future plans to develop and expand the resources? Have you got any?
Is that to me, right?
Sorry, yeah, what are your future plans to develop and expand your resources? So do you plan to do any other videos or?
Yeah, the future plans would be, our hopes would be then, as I mentioned, to make another set of materials for teenagers specifically, for age group 12 to 16, and we're hoping to do that. So we're working closely with the UNODC on that and hoping to get that done.
Okay,
and then
great.
we continue to expand the campaign that we have and continue to work on this dissemination, of course, so that it's being used by more local and national bodies. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's it for questions. No more has come in. Sorry, Jenny, the spotlight was on you there. So thank you for answering all those. And thanks again to all our speakers. So Jenny, Eva and Helena, thank you for answering, being part of today and answering the questions and your great presentations. It was a real pleasure to have you with us. So this concludes the webinar. So thank you all for attending. We hope you've learned something new about Listen First among youth and professionals in substance use prevention and how you can access materials, and are now aware of ISSUP Czech Republic's work in the drug demand reduction field, particularly with respect to prevention. You'll always receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view a recording of today's webinar. So on behalf of ISSUP and our presenters, thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.